being shown to British school children, where they teach everybody you're not going to have a good standard of living anymore, so you understand why they want to shut our economies down worldwide. And I haven't even gotten into the news. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to take calls on this Sunday edition, because I've got so much I want to talk about. I haven't even gotten into the crimes of the New World Order yet and their master plan. But more and more, the news is secondary to who is in control. Certified psychopathic control freaks that want you dead.
Did you ever think you'd be...
The ruling class in every culture has always seen the commoners as animals and scum, except in a few enlightened, empowered societies that had huge renaissance when they tried to build up the average person. And so this studying and system of tricking your population, manipulating, it's been developed for 5,000-6,000 years to a science, but now it's entered its golden age. And the great contest for human destiny and our future is being played out right now. All of you listening, your food, your water is been poisoned, been manipulated. It's very hard to avoid the genetically modified organisms. They can have 3 generations of rats in just a year and find that by the 3rd generation of rats, guinea pigs, and other mammals, they have near total sterilization just being fed one type of GMO corn or wheat. And it's the same in every study, because it's not an accident, it's not a side effect. You're told that these different crops have a trait you're buying, and then it turns out in most of the studies they don't even increase yields like they say. But really you're being given the real trait, the Trojan horse trait. And we've all accepted these big Trojan horses into our lives because they're so small. They're hidden inside the food, the water that looks good, it smells good. That's how you poison coyotes. If you don't care about killing other wildlife, you just poison a pond they're getting water out of. Make sure it's a poison that takes a few days to kill them. They'll all drink it. They'll die. Other coyotes will go back and drink out of it. They won't know why they're dying. And we're treated like animals. But humanity is supposed to be different. We've certainly visited at least the edge of the stars. We've created music like Beethoven and incredible art. I'm a fan of humanity. I love humanity. The globalists, because they've done horrible things to their own kind, have made excuses. The mind often finds a way to follow what the heart wants, and the globalists are truly wicked in their hearts, and so they build worlds as self-fulfilling prophecies out of what they already believe and what they want to do. And so our life expectancy is dropping. We have the highest rates of cancer, diabetes, obesity, every other neurological infirmity here in the United States. We're the beta test. England follows us second as the next beta test. And we're now only probably 25 years into just a few crops being GMO. Now they're coming out with hundreds and hundreds. So we're about one generation. On average, humans replicate every 20 years. It'll take another 40 to be to that 3-generation mark. And by then, we'll be like the guinea pigs. Mentally retarded, hair growing out of our mouths, almost completely sterile, bizarre deformities that happen after they're born, which many scientists thought wasn't even possible, non-cancerous deformities. Hell has been released. I'm walking dead, you're walking dead. Even if you try to protect your children, they're walking dead. And I'm here even though I'll probably be shut down, who knows when. Could be soon. Things are getting really dark. Or we could continue on for a long time if we back the globalist off and maybe reverse it. But I want you to remember that you saw this and heard this down the road. They've already got internet technologies to erase my voice off the entire internet in a matter of hours with the Kazaa-type systems that they have once everything's on cloud databases. So you're going to have to write down what I said, and you're going to have to hide it. Because if we don't stop them at this juncture, They'll have excuses. You know, they'll claim, oh, we had toxic waste, so that caused everyone to be sterile. No, you were sterilized by the people that are in those high-tech government reservations. I'm talking to folks, of course, in the year 2035. Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the entire architecture of the Internet, which itself is a control and communication system into all technological devices, has been engineered to track and trace and control the population? It is now phasing into the control grid it was always designed to be by eugenicists, those that wish for total tyranny within DARPA. There is global standardization of every system on record. And today we're getting into the architecture of the New World Order, part of a series of reports I'll continue to do. I had a brainstorm before the broadcast began today, and I was just thinking about all the incredible crimes that are committed against us, and I only wrote 28. You guys can come up with hundreds more. We're going to do big reports on it in the future. By the way, I am going to be speaking in Dallas, Texas, coming up on the 19th, and then in Orlando, Florida, for an affiliate on the 26th of next month. And you can go to Infowars.com and find banners that link to that, but we're going to kick an events page up as well. It's a beta test for going and visiting more affiliates in the future. But how do you visit 100-plus affiliates? We'll try. But these crimes of dumbing down the population by design, that's in Department of Education documents that are in the book, Deliberate Dumbing Down. Charlotte Iserby, Skull and Bones family. #2, Department of Education. Exposing it all. Destroying the language on record, reducing it, changing what words mean. There's big studies out on how the language, people today, 200 years ago, couldn't even communicate with our colonial ancestors. I mean, we're just totally dumbed down, myself included. They're constructing a parasitic, predatory, scientific kill grid. That's what this whole New World Order system's for. And look at all the crimes they've committed, all the lies. They're attacking real culture, wherever it comes from, tribal, family-oriented, religious. They want you to accept their plastic, globalist culture that they can just download a new politically correct system into you the next week whenever they want. The bioweapons. I mean, all these governments, admittedly, and corporations creating hundreds and hundreds of super bioweapons in the name of fighting bioweapons that are specifically tailored to kill over 90% of the humans they come in contact with, while the globalists talk all day about getting rid of the population. The GMOs on record sterilizing every mammal species they're fed to. Reducing fertility, first generation, massively reducing second, near pure sterility by the third. Guinea pig, rat studies, look it up, it's nightmare. You're being fed this. Bugs cannot eat the GMO corn that has the pesticide that grows in it, a pharmacological crop. I mean, folks, there is a Holocaust going on, but it's not Nazi tanks and blitzkriegs and ditches shooting people in the back of the head. Well, they are doing that in Africa. I'm going to get to that in a moment. It's against everybody. While the whole time ignoring the real environmental problems and covering it up, listing carbon dioxide as the crime. Again, they're masters at controlling movements with a distraction that they use to then control everybody, while engaging in environmental holocausts that make your head spin. The fluoridation of the water, the cancer it causes on record, the deadly vaccines, their own inserts admitting it. All of this. Government drug dealing, Fast and Furious, caught blaming the Second Amendment as a false flag. The NDAA saying no Bill of Rights, no Constitution, we can secretly arrest you. The torture, constantly caught lying, the TSA lies. The ultra-rich exempt from the taxes because they write the laws. Then they point to the blue-collar folks and say, that guy who's rich making $200,000 a year, raise his taxes because they get paid most of that money in corporate welfare and banker bailouts. The ultra-rich want to rob the middle class through taxes, and the poor people are unsophisticated and don't understand that. Actually, they do. Most of them actually aren't for raising taxes. I've seen national polls. They've got it when Warren Buffett's saying, I want to pay more. Really? Well, then just pay it. Oh, you're so cold-blooded. You got Obama to shut down the pipeline bringing the U.S. oil so it won't be dependent on the Middle East, so you can ship it on trains, Bloomberg reports, to the West Coast and then to ships to China. Oh, because you care about us. I mean, these are cold-blooded scum who fund PR. Turns out Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are funding ABC News. That's why every time I turn it on, it's how great they are and how much they love you. And if they'll just raise taxes, they'll kiss you on the head. I mean, these are monsters. Now, I want to bring Aaron Dykes in here after this next break that's coming up, but I wanted to get to this now. There's more than 10 of these that I've seen. These were produced in association with the British government and foundations. You can just type in Plandopolis, and you can go to their website. You can watch them on YouTube. And they show this to kids in Britain. Now, you'd think this is a joke. This is not a joke. Similar stuff is shown in U.S. classrooms. I've got Time magazine from kids a decade ago saying, your parents aren't trendy. We wrote an article about it. You pull it up on Infowars.com. Your parents aren't trendy. They don't know to get a microchip in their bodies cool. They belong to the old generation that isn't with it. I mean, I've read this on air repeatedly. You can pull it up. This is given free in the schools to the kids, telling them your parents are bad and dumb. What did Al Gore get recorded repeatedly telling school kids in these auditoriums? Your parents don't know. You go home and tell them, pay more taxes because of the evil carbon. They have video games in public schools teaching them carbon monsters are going to get them. I've talked to parents who have their kids in private and public school, and they say they'll drive by a housing development and cry, saying the earth is dying. They're teaching them to hate themselves. And not even for the environment, but so they'll just do whatever the programmers tell them. It's the new religion, and the globalists admit that. But this isn't a joke. See, for those of you that are older and are under the old programming, this sounds extreme. To the young, they're being shown this. It's a woman in charge. The man's a piece of garbage. That's a globalist model, CIA, Miss Magazine funded. So the women are working, so the kids are raised by the state. And they talk about how great this planned society is. Let's just play a few minutes of what's shown to British school children. And again, folks, there's thousands of these statements about post-industrial world. They're going to shut everything off on purpose. Cities saying we're going to jack up your taxes for the earth. Here it is.
Oh, hi. I'm so glad you're on time. I'm V. I'm looking forward to showing you around Plandopolis today. My husband works from home. He's a virtual engineer working on one of the city's desalination plants. He controls the robots who do all the important maintenance. I think he basically plays computer games for a living. Are you ready to go? Have you got your calorie card open on your smartphone? I registered your visit with Slick Travel Corp the other day.
Good pause.
They've allotted you a...
By the way, this came out a year ago. They now are teaching in the U.S. and England, just type in, everyone to be given calorie cards, carbon tax ration cards. The EU's trying to pass it as law. They've passed a law phased in next year, but by 2020 by law, no families are allowed to live in a home alone. All new homes, including ones you're allowed to buy, are single, no more single parent or family dwelling. They're in communal buildings. That's now law. I mean, this is cult takeover. Let's continue. Here it is.
It makes so much sense, doesn't it? Switch off brain and go to work. With this many people around, I'm glad there's a mega computer in charge.
Stop right there. That's pushed by all these little globalist groups that pose as grassroots organizations but get written up in the New York Times of how great they are. All these little videos on the internet about a big computer will run it and divide everything up evenly. That's targeting the dumbest of people. Who programs the computer? What if you don't want to go live in the big plastic city? Let's continue. Here it is.
Our kids were allocated a school quite near my practice, so I can drop them off on the way. It saves on our calorie ration. Well, it won't be long until the little darlings get their career announcements. They've been working so hard.
That's what Bill Gates has always pushed, pre-testing. And they call it school choice. No, these are corporate schools that are actually taxpayer-funded partially, which you think, oh, I'm getting out of the gang member schools. Then you're sent to the Bill and Melinda Gates brainwashing school. They fund them all over the country with your tax money. It's all tax-free for them. Continue.
Oh, I'm sure they'll get something good. Not that there's anything wrong with fixing carbon scrubbers for a living or anything.